Now, what we won't be covering in this walkthrough, and we'll show you here on this next slide, is the first time login page. So the first time that you are creating an account in the system, you'll see this first time login page. We will note that you are able to create an organization here, but if someone else in your organization has already created an account and a shared organization, wait for the email invitation from them. That'll provide you with a more seamless experience. So just a brief view of this. We won't see this in the live walkthrough because the account has already been created to show you how to navigate through the system. And with that, I think if we're ready, we can start the live walkthrough of the submission wizard.
All right, hopefully everyone can see my screen. We are going to be doing a live walkthrough of the remitter portal, specifically the submission wizard. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. And as you guys are, some of you guys are familiar with, this is the login.gov page. And as we get the code, I should be able to log in. Now, keep in mind that login.gov really does discourage the use of backup codes and recommends that we use the text and phone option for this code. And here I am. One of the first pages that you'll see is the welcome page. Please make sure to read the special pilot program rules, set up your contact information in your account profile, and also watch the tutorial videos before you start. So those are the first 3 items here. You can go ahead and start a new application or continue on to the dashboard. Throughout this whole experience, we always ask that you please give us feedback and suggestions. We are in the pilot program right now, and we are continuously looking to make improvements to the system. We've been doing that ever since we've started, and we are trying to find ways to better offer the service to you. Speaking of feedback, I want to let you know that I am using a demo environment for this. There are a few updates that will be coming in our December release that you might not see today, so I'll point those out along the way. A little sneak preview there. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is one of those pages that we're adding based off of our user feedback, and you'll see this page in December. Before you start, we want to make sure that you are submitting the document that's allowed as part of the pilot program, which are documents that fall under Title 17, Section 205. Here we indicate that recordation is not the same as registration. And if you do want to go and register a work, this is not the system, but we will be providing you a direct link to the ECO registration system. Before December, when you don't have this page, you can always visit the registration page on the copyright.gov website, and you'll also find a link to the registration system there. We will also reiterate some of the document types that are not currently supported through the online system. These are things such as notices of termination or pre-1972 sound recordings, along with some other items in this bulleted list. If these are something that you're interested in, we can keep you informed when those do become available. You'll just need to click the Receive Updates button. Again, this page is coming to you in December. So let's go ahead and start. The Documents tab is the section that you have to fill out first. You will not be permitted to move forward until all of the minimum requirements of this page is met. You'll see that you won't have a unique service request number, also known as an SR number, until you have uploaded a document to start. So I will go ahead and do that. So the document that we'll be doing this demo off of is this document right here, this assignment. So this is a document that we're going to be doing from Cardi B to W. Chappelle Music about the transfer of two works, Rumors and Wildside, and we'll be using that as an example. Once the document is uploaded, you'll see the SR number at the top. It's now assigned. This is going to be your reference number until the document is approved for recordation. The next question here is important because this is the only question where you cannot turn back from once you've confirmed your choice. Is this document in English? And the reason why this question is important is because it drives which form you will fill out in the submission wizard, whether you're doing the English path or the non-English path. And these two paths are very different in terms of what we're asking you to put into the system. Since it's very important, I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, this document is in English. We do ask that you confirm. So we give you an opportunity to go back. You hit cancel, you'll be going back. But if you hit continue, you'll see that this is grayed out. You can no longer change this option. The next question is about redactions. If your document contains redactions, we will want to know that along with what type of information that is redacted. So if you hit yes, there will be some follow-up questions here. For this demo, we'll say no, this document will not contain any redactions. I think this is a good place to point out that there are these help buttons on the side. One of the user intuitive features that we did try to put in are these flyouts. So you can see that when you click on this help button, because I clicked it on the redaction section opens up in this flyout. And it's important to note that you can access all of this additional help content without leaving the page. So we try to keep the instructions fairly brief, but if you want more details, click the help and this flyout will come out, give you a lot more information. You can see the help from other sections as well. Go ahead and close this. The next question is the first of 3 certification questions that you will have to answer through the submission wizard. This one asks that you certify that the digital file you are uploading is indeed a true and correct copy of the original. You have to certify to proceed, and you have 3 options to do this. The first one is asking whether you are personally making the certification. The second option is if you're not comfortable with making the certification, then maybe someone else can. Someone who's going through this wizard may not always be the person who prepared the document, so they may not feel comfortable about making the certification here. So they may ask someone else to do it. So if you select no, I cannot make the certification, then it will prompt you to say, hey, please upload the sworn certification form. And I do want to emphasize that every form that you need in the submission wizard is located inside the submission wizard. So if you need to fill this out, there is a download button for this form that you can download, fill out, and then upload. The system will always have the latest and greatest version. Please don't go anywhere else to find them. That way, this makes sure that you have the right version for the submission wizard. So I have one that's on file here. You can go ahead and take a look. So this is the one that I filled out for this demo. And then the one that I haven't gone over yet is this last option, which is an official certification. In some cases, the certification may come from a government official. So they would typically provide you with some documentation for you to upload. So if this is applicable to you, and if you want to select it, there will be another upload box here for you to upload your official certification. Once I have certified or uploaded a sworn certification, I will need to indicate how that certifier or how I am related to the document. So let me pull up the drop-down choices here. There's 4 options. The first one is that you are a party to the document, or the certifier is a party to the document. That means the person certifying is listed as one of the parties in the document. If I selected the option saying that I personally am certifying, this means that me, and I'm logged in here as Sue Stanley. Like if you go to the party section in your document, you will find Sue Stanley's name in that document. For this document here, Sue Stanley is not listed anywhere in this document. So what I would say is I would choose this option. I am an authorized representative of a party. And who am I representing? Well, I will say WC Music. I think that is, yeah, WC Music Corp. We have other options here. You can be a successor in interest to a party or an authorized representative of the successor in interest to a party. So please select whichever one is applicable to you. Here we have the second certification question. Does your document meet the eligibility requirements for recordation? Meaning, does it have the required signatures? Is it legible? And if there are redactions, do they meet the redaction requirements specified in section 201.4? So here again, you can either certify as yourself, or if you're not comfortable with that certification, you can also upload a certification made by someone else. So I'll go ahead and take that path. Again, you have another certification form that you can download here. And I have prepared one already for this demo. And here you can see the recordation eligibility certification. The next question is, what kind of document is this? Well, from the demo document that we have, it's clear that this is an assignment. So I will go to the drop-down list and select assignment. There's other types of documents here, but if you don't see it listed, you're always welcome to use the other button. And then we ask about the document header or the document name. This is typically located right at the top of the document, and this one's fairly straightforward, so it's called assignment. However, not all documents are that straightforward. Every document is different. So if we go to the help, you can see some examples that we've seen in the past. So sometimes they could be called short form assignment of distribution of rights, assignment of copyrights and related rights and obligations. Every one of these are going to be different based on the document that you're trying to upload and record with the Copyright Office. Coming down to the next section, we have dates for the document being recorded. The date of execution, the effective date, and the notary date are all listed here as optional because some documents may not contain this information. So we're not going to force you to fill it out if you don't have it. But if you do have it, please provide it. Providing this information will help others find the document in the public record. I believe this one is July 19th, 2019. (2019) 2021. Right. We have 3 more questions down here. Is this document related to another document that was previously recorded with the Copyright Office? In some scenarios, you may have a mortgage in the past that you've recorded to show works being transferred from party A to party B, but then in a second document, you may have a work that's being returned from party B to party A. So when you're recording that document, that second document, you may want to reference the first document to show the relationship. We also have a multiple transfer question here. In most cases, you will only have one transfer where the document may be transferring X number of copyrights from one individual or group to another individual or group. In very few cases, documents might have multiple transfers happening, where one individual or group transfers to a second individual or group, and within the same document, that second group will transfer a subset or all of the titles to a third individual or group. Again, this is not something that we see all the time, but if your document falls under this category, you will need to change this number from the default value of 1 to the number of transactions that are happening, transfers that are happening within your document. You can read more about this in the help section, and if you're still unsure, please contact our public information office and they can provide you with a more detailed explanation. The last is the tracking numbers. Some remitters find it useful to append their own company's reference number to the submission to help with their own filing purposes. For us, it doesn't matter what you put in here because we will either refer to the service request number or the volume and document number for when the document is approved. This is really for your personal tracking or reference. So I'm going to hit next to save all the work that we've done so far. Once you complete the document section, 3 sections are open for you to work in any order that you'd like. I'm just going to go ahead in the order that it's presented. So here we want to know all the different parties that are listed in the document. You have 2 types of parties, party 1 and party 2. Party 1 is the organization that is typically giving rights or the person that is giving rights. And you can have multiple people categorized as party 1. Party 2 is the individual organization that are receiving rights. And you can have multiple individuals categorized as party 2 as well. So I will go ahead and add Cardi B and W Chappelle Music now. So looking at this. So we have the assigner. Dakalis Almanzar, and we do take special characters here. And I pulled this document because there's a little bit more information about the parties. We can add alternate names here. She is professionally known as Cardi B. And she, in this document, she's doing business as Al Music. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. I'm going to add another party. So here we have party 2. And party 2 is an organization. So this one is designated as an assignee. And it was W Chappelle Music Corp. And they are also known as WC Music Corp. There we go, and we're done. I'm going to hit save, and here are the 2 parties. All right, now let's go to works. So there are some documents that do not contain any works. If that is your case, you can go ahead and select no, and you can skip past the work section of the wizard. Now in the sample document that we have here, there are 2 works, Rumors and Wild Side. I can go ahead and manually add this in. And I'll click this button and I'll see this nice long form. Let me actually add rumor. A nice long form here. And this has all the different types of various indexing information, details information that I can provide for the work, titles, registration number, dates, alternate titles, authors, edition information, standard identifiers, etc. And with 2 works, and I think the document only provided the titles, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, I can go ahead and add these in manually. But some of your documents might have 100 titles, 500 titles, maybe 1,000 titles. And some you might have a ton of alternate titles or registration numbers. And if that's the case for you, I really recommend that you use our upload titles option over here. So I'm going to cancel out of here and I'll show you the upload works. And as this points out, for the electronic recordation system, we're only allowing you to have up to 10,000 works in the online submission. If you have more than 10,000 works, you cannot use the online system. You have to use the paper submission process. So here we have a spreadsheet template for you to use. And this is going to be based on this file changes, and it's based on what you answered on the document section. Earlier, we mentioned that this document was an English document. So the system will provide you with the upload spreadsheet for English. This is one of the many reasons why it's always important to pull the files that you need, pull the templates, the forms you need from the system, because it's giving you the right one based on what you filled out so far. All right, so let me go ahead and open that template. So the template has 3 tabs. The first one is the instructions tab, which has very detailed instructions on what you need to fill out for every single field. Now, if you're a visual person like me, I like to have examples. So here we have examples of how to fill this out. So we have a nice long list of titles, maybe some additional details over here. And then there's the blank template for you to fill out. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And for this document, it was only 2 titles, and they didn't provide anything else. So you just put 1 title on each line, and you're good to go. So now let's use our imagination and think, what if this document contained a ton of details for each title, like registration numbers, dates, author information, maybe even some standard identifiers? So here's how you would fill out the spreadsheet. The first title would go on the first line, along with this registration number, year, type of work, and any other information associated with that title or work. Now, any additional details would go on the subsequent lines, and the system would know anything following that first line will be related to that title. So here I've added about 6 authors. And similarly for Wildside, I put in the information on its own line, and in the next line, I put in more additional details here. So I have more authors, and then I threw in a standard identifier here just to show you what it's like. There are other additional details that you can add, AKAs, translations, additional registration number. So feel free to explore that list when you're using that, when you're using the Works upload spreadsheet. All right. Let's go ahead and upload the really detailed one because I do want to show you what it's going to look like. So hopefully you guys are seeing my screen. Back to the Works section. I'm going to go ahead and upload that detailed spreadsheet and hit the Upload Works button. And here it is. These are all of the works and the authors that I just had in my spreadsheet. Here's the standard identifier that I had. And as I'm going through this, I think I have a typo in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and edit this one title. I don't want to change the spreadsheet and re-upload it. So I'm just going to change this from rumor to rumors. And I can make some other edits here, but you can see the system has filled out all of this information. Oh, and thanks for the notification. My works have been uploaded. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. So now this is from rumor to rumors. And that is it for the Works tab. And similarly enough, all of these tabs have these help buttons that you can explore some additional help text for. Now let's go to the Contacts tab. We require 2 contacts from you. The first one is auto-populated, so you don't have to worry too much about that. It's pulled from your account profile. The remitter contact is the person who is submitting the service request. So naturally, I'm logged in here as Sue Stanley, so it's pulled from all of my account information there. The second contact is the one that you do have a little bit of control over. We're asking for who is responsible for keeping tabs of all the correspondence from the Copyright Office pertaining to this service request. It's defaulted to the remitter. So right now it's defaulted to Sue Stanley. I can go ahead and edit this. I can change it to someone else in my organization if you have an organization set up in the recordation system. So here I could change it to Joe Johnson at this other email address in my organization. Similarly, I can change it back to Sue Stanley. And if you want to know more about setting up organizations in the system, please feel free to visit our tutorials on copyright.gov. We won't be covering it in this walkthrough today. The Pay and Submit tab is our last tab. The first thing that I always recommend people to do is to make sure that you review everything that you've typed in and upload it to the SR. You have two review buttons. One is up here and one is over here in your order summary. They will both take you to the same place. This yellow banner is something that we're going to be adding to our upcoming release in December. I want to give a shout out to one of our remitters. This was a really great suggestion, so I just want to give a little bit of credit to them. This came in through feedback and suggestions. Thought it was a great idea, so it's coming to your way in December. You'll see that you have no payment information because you have not submitted anything yet. And there are 3 sections. The first one is the application documents section. These are important documents that drive the indexing information for the public catalog, as well as the document that will be available to the public as part of the public record. So I just want to go ahead and generate this application review here. And what this is doing is basically giving you a list of every question that we've asked you so far. Let me open it up for you to take a look. And specifically your answers to every single question that we asked you. Let me come back to this review page here. All right, and the second one, this is also very important. You want to check out the document that you uploaded. Now, once review has started, your changes to the document will be very limited. So for example, if you accidentally uploaded a picture of your dog instead of the file, maybe they were just sitting really close to each other, you can't change out that document once the Copyright Office staff member has started reviewing your service request. So this is a great way to make sure that you uploaded your right document. So let's go ahead and open it in the viewer. And oh, that's not the right document. So it's a good thing I checked because I definitely did not want to submit this to the Copyright Office for recordation. So, good thing I can go back and change this. But before I do that, I do want to talk about 2 of the other sections here. The supporting documents are all of the files that you have uploaded to help you complete the submission wizard, from your Works upload spreadsheet to supporting certification PDF files. The last section is also important. Before the office takes a decision on your service request, you will see the ability to preview what the public might see in the public record once the document's approved by the Copyright Office. I highly recommend that you take a look at this and just in case you have some PI information or some sensitive information that you may not want the public to see. So I'm going to go ahead and open it in the viewer. And again, this is just a preview of the public record if your document was approved. And you can go through and take a look at this and see, based on everything that you've entered, what might the public see. All right. Now let's go back and make sure I uploaded that right document. So I'm going to go back to the document section and upload the correct document. Now I'm going to make sure that this is the right document here. I'm going to open it in viewer. And yep, this is the document that I want to record. And because I changed my document, I will have to recertify 2 of the certification questions. One, is this document a true and correct copy? So earlier I said no. I'm going to go ahead and upload that certification form again, the SWAN certification form. And I was an authorized representative of a party. And I have the recordation eligibility certification form that I still need to upload. So let me do that. And I'm going to hit next to save my changes. And voila, now that I verify everything, I'm going to go ahead and start filling out my pay and submit page. There are two options for payment. You can use pay.gov or deposit account. You have to pay for the entire amount using one of these two options. So your pay.gov is going to be for your one-time credit card, debit card, or ACH payments. If you have a deposit account set up for the online recordation system, you can go ahead and select one of those to make payments. I have two deposit accounts set up for this demo. To learn more about how to set up deposit accounts, I would recommend the tutorials page. There's a short video that describes how you can go through the process of setting one up if that's something that you're looking for. Just remember the online recordation system requires its own deposit account, so you have to create one for the system. We also have the ability to add special handling. If you add special handling, you can skip the wait and the waiting period, and the SR will go directly in the hands of a reviewer. It costs $555 to do this. $550, sorry, to do this, and you have to provide a justification for it. All right, so we also have a fee breakdown that tells you what all of the charges are and what makes up the total for your order. So you'll see the $705 here, and you'll also see the $705 up here. For the purpose of this demo, I'm going to go ahead and remove special handling because I want to show you what happens to a service request when it goes through the normal submission process. So you can see the fee table update, the $550 was removed. And we have the last of the three certification questions here. You have to certify that you have the authority to make this submission. And once you say yes, we do collect an e-signature from you. And we can go ahead and check out. Again, this banner is going to be coming in December, but until then, the best way to see if your application was submitted is to look at the status. It will either say pending review or in review. Pending review if you didn't add special handling. And if you did add special handling, the status will be briefly placed in pending review, then immediately skip to the in review status, kind of like walking past all the SRs in the pending queue and straight into the hands of a reviewer. We also have the payment receipt information here along with another copy of the fee breakdown for the service request. And then last but not least, we have those documents, again, the three sections of documents captured at the time of submission. This is every question that you've answered, the document that you uploaded. So you should be able to see the corrected document here. All of the supporting documents and the preview public record again. I want to say one more thing about this section. If your document is approved to be recorded to the public catalog, this won't say preview public record anymore. Instead, you'll see your numbered document and your certificate appear in this section. It'll also give you a link to the public catalog. In the unfortunate circumstance that your document is rejected, your rejection letter will appear here in this section. Also, it will appear in your mailbox up here. Finally, we can return to your dashboard, and you can see that the SR that we just put in is in pending status. And now that you have an item in your dashboard, after you log in, you won't see the welcome page anymore. You'll be directed straight to this dashboard. But I know there was a lot of information that was on that welcome page that might be useful to reference. So we have all of that information in the footer. So you have the special pilot program rules, you have the tutorial videos, we have some frequently asked questions over here. We also have the contact information if you need support here.